I wanted to show y'all what the winter wonderland of the Dallas area looks like. This is our home here in Dallas, and you know what's crazy? We'll be fishing in shorts in a week. I mean, it's gonna be in the mid-60s next week. Such a crazy place. But anyway, so this video is some more of the footage from my time with Chris at Classic Fiberglass. And he shared with me, this was not planned, he just shared with me, you're going to see in this video, they're putting a new hull, or excuse me, a new transom in an older Skeeter. I believe it's an 05 or an 06 Skeeter. But we started talking about things that are detrimental to hulls. And so what he's going to tell us about today is one of the things that he believes is a failure, especially in older wooden hull boats. But we talked off camera, and it's not in here, but he said this is probably, it could damage a composite transom, which is what we all run now. So just think about this as you watch this video the next time you put your boat on the trailer and do the things that we all do when you put your boat on the trailer, that we might want to be a little bit more careful in the future. Because if you've, well, I'll tell you what, I'll finish that when I come back, when I close this video. All right, so there's just stuff I'm learning as Chris and I are standing around here talking. And two of the things I want him to talk about are ratchets, which he just told me can damage a boat when we ratchet our boats down, and then also transom saver. So I'm going to let him talk while he works. Talk first about transom savers.
First off, transom savers are kind of a unique deal. Everybody's throwing these things in them called motor toters and all these other things, but they really don't offer any support on the transom itself. You know, I'm an old school guy with, I believe in the, you know, the one that goes to the trailer, even though I don't actually have one on my boat, but typically my boat goes 2 miles from here to the lake. But it offers a lot more support. Not such a big deal on composite transoms, really, because they're built pretty tough, but on a wood transom, you need a little more support than what that motor toter is gonna give you. You need something to, you know, the trailer to help you out a little bit, take a little weight off of it anyway.
So you were just describing a situation with a guy with an older boat. Tell what happened.
And we put a composite transom in it, and he didn't use a transom saver at all. He put the motor lock on it, which is a traveling lock. Drove to Ross Barnett with it, and the motor bolts is a brand new transom. He picked it up, took it to Ross Barnett, and the motor bolts wanted to pull through it because he had absolutely no support on the transom. And of course, he's mad, and you know. But like I told him, we fixed it for free for him. We put a new wood transom in it, and took the jack plate off of it, and made him make sure he was going to keep a right transom saver on it. And then 2 years ago, we hadn't heard from him since. So I guess. So, but the challenge,
what happened basically there was the rattling of the boat actually pushed it.
Yeah, it
pulled the bolts into the boat.
Yeah, because it's, you know, of course, top heavy, so it wanted to pull back, and it just pulled the motor bolts in.
All right, so let's talk about guys getting carried away with their ratchets on older boats. So that's what we're talking about right there, is the thing that you ratchet the boat down to the bottom of the to the trailer.
Right. Right. And it's not as bad on newer boats just because everything's composite, and a lot of the ratchet straps are hooked to the jack plate now and stuff like that. But what we found out in doing a lot of transoms is that probably 70% of the time the rot stops at the transom eyes, and that's where it starts at.
So what does?
The rotten wood.
Oh, I got you.
You know,
okay.
If we're putting a transom in, once we start tearing out, you'll see the mushy part of it is probably about 70% time on the stern eyes. So that basically is from breaking the seal of the silicone and whatever, and we've just started seeing it more since the ratchet straps come out. You know, it's hard to get one of those little flap down straps tight enough to do anything, but I see people on there, they just want to rear on there and grab that thing one more time.
Yep, I do. I'm bad about it.
And see if they can't just, you know, snug it up a little bit, and all that's doing is flexing it down and breaking that silicone seal.
So what you're talking about on the silicone seal is when y'all y'all are actually making a wooden transom right now.
Right.
So it's 2 pieces of plywood with what's in between them? Just resin?
No, actually, fiberglass sheet just like this right here. That's 1.5 ounce mat. And so we'll put 2 sheets in there, and that's going to give you right about a 1/8 of an inch of thickness of fiberglass.
So you sandwich that.
Yes, so we'll take the 2 pieces of wood and we put 2 sheets of glass, sandwich it, we clamp them down, get all the air out of it. And then once everything's trimmed up, that's dry, it's trimmed up, we're ready to put it in the boat, we lay 2 sheets of fiberglass down. And then we put the transom in the boat and we clamp that down and get all the air out of it. And then after that's all dry, then we come back over the top and seal it in with two more sheets of glass. So it ultimately, it's got 2 pieces of 3/4 marine grade and 6 layers of 1.5 ounce mat.
You know, I realized I've got video of them making that transom, so I'll stick it in right here. So by the way, that is the, and I don't know that we'll ever use this footage, but I find it interesting. That's the transom. That's the composite transom out of that boat over there.
You can see the crack where there's a crack down the side. And it may have taken an impact at one time or another, I don't know. Probably likely that it did, but it didn't get repaired, therefore split the boat on the outside of the transom over there. And,
oh, I didn't see that.
So it's got cracks down both sides. Yeah. You can see daylight through, so those have got to be repaired after we did it. So obviously we'll glass them from the inside first, and then we'll come out afterwards. Got a couple of cracks here on the top, and that's just because it didn't get taken care of when it first happened. Yeah, whoever had it, I don't know if it was this customer or not, but I mean, it could have got it taken care of under insurance, but at this point it's a little too far gone for insurance.
And that's just flotation in the sponsons?
It is, yeah.
Okay. I never knew what was inside that.
Yeah, and all this is inside, foam inside here too. It's just all their Coast Guard regulations. They've got to have a certain amount of flotation foam in the boats.
You see, he's cut him up. That's the first piece of that transom. He's going to double it. Once he gets it just the way he wants it, he'll build another one, and then they'll start sandwiching fiberglass to make it strong. I asked Chris, I said, why did you put wood instead of fiberglass? He said, I just like them better. I think they're stronger, and I think they'll last longer. And then when you're talking about the silicone that the seal gets broken on, where does that go?
That's just regular RTV silicone that everybody, puts on their motor bolts or before they put the transom tie downs in, they'll put silicone on it, push it in, and that just keeps a little
when
water.
You're working that thing,
yeah, you're breaking that
silicone,
seal.
and now I got a place for water to get in.
That's right. And so, we see a lot of times people will run transducers in or something, and they don't put any silicone in them, or they'll pull a transducer out and they don't fill the holes with anything, so you just got holes, and a lot of people don't pay attention to it, Motor bolts are another one we see some people don't, I think spec says you're supposed to check that every 4 years, change, reseal your motor bolts every 4 years. Nobody does that. I mean, I haven't ever done it, but we, on occasion, we see that's where the rot starts, is from a motor bolt. And you can almost always see it, and it just grows and grows and grows. And then there's a lot of times you'll have one side of the transom that's, you can just wring it out with the water out of it, and the other side's just real good wood,
So does anybody still make from the factory a wooden transom?
Not that I know of, not that I'm aware of.
But this is real, so around Rayburn, one of those popular boats are those old Champions.
Yes.
And that's exact, so what you're saying to a Champion guy is, don't get carried away ratcheting your boat down.
That's right.
And it probably, I would do it maybe every year or two, reseal or reset your bolts and put silicone in them.
Right. Yeah, so we put more transoms in old Champions than we do any boats out there. And with that balsa wood that they put in there for 2 or 3 years, that, I mean, you could get it, and it's just, you wring it out like a sponge, and once it soaks up water, it'll destroy a transom. I mean, we fixed them where it just had a square in the back tore out because the motor fell out going down the lake or fall off going down the road. We fixed a bunch of them like that. It's just, but those old boats are worth that. It's a desirable old boat. That 202, 203, 206. Man, they're hard to come by.
221.
Oh yeah,
really hard.
Aircraft carrier.
So as I was saying, I'm been real. I literally cinch it down till I can't cinch it down any tighter. But I saw several years ago, I believe it was at a championship somewhere. I want to say it was down at Falcon, and a guy, something ran out in the road or something, and he dodged it. and his boat came off the trailer, and I said, man, didn't you have it strapped down? And he showed me it just ripped those nylon straps. So no matter how tight you crank those nylon straps down, it'll still pop them. So maybe there's not a reason to cinch them down as tight as we all cinch them down. You just want to snug them down so not to damage your transom. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I certainly learned something from Chris there. And my current boat is 3 years old, and you know, he makes a great point. And by the way, I know for a fact that from somebody that helped me with one of my boats in the past, that those bolts will, and I don't know that they stretch, but something happens to the integrity of motor bolts. So if you've got a very old boat, you know, and I'm going to say very old, 6, 8, 10 years or older, probably, if you've never done it, a really good time to replace your motor mount bolts and absolutely silicone them in. So just closing thoughts there for you. We'll be on We'll be on Fork this weekend fishing the Bass Champs tournament. Don't forget, for Spark customers, top 10 finisher, highest top 10 finisher is an extra $2 grand in prize money. And trust me, Terry and I are going to do our best to win that money, but come on and compete with us. You can sign up at Spark Fishing to become a Spark customer. And that prize money's out there, and it's going to continue to pile up if we don't win it. So we'll see you guys. If you get a chance to see me over at Fork, come over and say hello. If I don't know you, I'd love to meet you. And we'll see you guys here in the next couple of days. Thanks, guys.